Good morning, everybody. This is Chattin with CHAP. I am your host, Ginger Wade. And look, I have Sarah with me again today.
Hello.
We are going to spend some time today sharing from our experiences homeschooling multiple ages. So we know there's a bunch of you mamas out there and you have littles all around you and you're like, oh my goodness, how do I even handle this homeschool thing with all these children? And they keep coming, right?
Oh,
we had some of those years.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Right? Okay, my body was to the point where, no joke, every 2 years, my body felt like it was time to get pregnant.
Yep.
Like it was amazing. So like...
We had 5 in 5 years.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
That is, woo!
Yep.
Like, I had 6 and 12 years, so I had a little bit of space there, but...
we just didn't stop.
Yeah. Might as well get this thing done.
Yep.
So anyway, we are here to share with you some of our tips and tricks for homeschooling multiple kids of multiple ages. How did we live? How did we make it? Yeah. How are we still alive and doing it?
Well, we're here, so that's a good thing.
We are, and we are encouraging you because this is testimony that is possible.
Yes, it is.
It's possible to do this thing. So let's talk about some of our favorite things regarding homeschooling. Is there anything that pops like right off at the get-go that you can think of that you did?
Well, for me, I just loved the time with my kids. So we weren't each in a different room. You're doing first grade, you're doing second grade, you're doing third grade. We were enjoying time together. And you can do that with reading, with history, with science, with art, with music, with basically everything. We did keep math individualized and some of their specific language arts was, but even that, doing it together felt more like the natural flow of things than school at home. It was, we were just living our lives together and learning all in the same time. That was, that is what this is.
Exactly. History is one of my favorite things. Like, so I like Sunlight. It's got a nice core, literature rich. I love reading stuff. So I'm all into historical novels, get rid of the dry textbooks. Yes. No fun for anyone. Yes. But it was just like, it's read aloud time. Science was like that. We had multiple history books or Bible or whatever. And it was just so good. And now, I'm still doing it now. Like this year, we're still doing, I have a sophomore and a 7th grader and a 4th grader together. And what's really cool is at this age, if you keep it up, the older ones contribute to the conversation. They have great conversations. And some of them are very spiritual and deep or political in nature. So it's really great. If you start that habit early on when they're little. Yeah. And always read to the oldest kid, right? You're always reading. It's okay if little ones don't get it all. Yep. Yeah. It's okay. It enhances their vocabulary, it enhances their grammar, all those things. But yeah, we came together and read things. And then if they were, too young to get it, it's okay. Something's going to sink in.
Yes. Or lay the foundation for the next time you go through that same set of, whatever you're learning. Yeah. It's all going to cycle. So they already will have had a little bit. And the next time you hit it, it's just going to mean even more. Yeah.
So if you're reading, and you have kids that wiggle a little bit, do you have any
tips on that?
Any tips on what to do with wiggly kids during read along time?
My kids are already they learned right away. Well, I learned right away who needed stuff and who didn't. And we get our coloring books out. That's a great time to color is when we're reading. Legos, as long as it's quiet Legos, not we're building armies and so there has to be a little bit of discipline in there. Yeah. But yes. Keep their little hands busy and have some nice quiet activities they can be doing. And I think that they learn better when their hands are busy. So they're going to listen. You're not going to feel like they're listening sometimes because they're so focused on coloring or whatever it is that
they're sitting upside down on the sofa.
Yes, they're sitting upside down.
Or rolling around on the floor.
Go outside. Read outside. And you can that's a whole nother place where you can keep them busy and be reading. As long as the weather's nice. Oh man, we did Mystery of History one year, and because we are normal human beings, skipped a whole bunch of days and then had to catch up. So we played the catch up game. But what happened was, it was actually quite amazing. it was the end of the school year and the weather had broken and it was so beautiful out, and we made a spot in our yard, which was history spot. And that year we all had our favorite chair. We sat in a circle and we did like 3 Mystery of History lessons a day.
That's awesome.
But I feel like sometimes when you cram it in like that, sometimes it works out better because it's like doing, block scheduling. Like when you're, we didn't plan it that way, but we made lemonade from lemons,
Sure. Yeah, and that's what it's all about, right?
Yes.
Life happens.
You got to roll with it.
Yeah, life happens. And that's one of the big things about the homeschooling life is when life happens, it's okay.
Yes.
Because you can adjust. If you can't do school for a week, oh well. 2 weeks, oh well. A month, oh well. I mean, health happens, life happens. Good things, bad things, and learning to adjust with it. I mean, that's a big part of it too. But we're getting off subject.
We are. I'm sorry.
So we're going to rein it back in to multiple ages. So one of the things that I used to do when we did have individual work, like the math sheet or the handwriting paper or whatever, I used to set up a schedule with my little kids. So there was a half hour with mommy, a half hour on your own, and a half hour with whoever the baby was at that time. So so if there was particular things I need to help you learn or do, grammar or whatever it was, we would work together for a while one of the other siblings was doing the handwriting and the math sheet, and the third sibling was playing with the baby. And then we'd rotate, right? So, and I actually kept a sheet so we could keep track of it. But that worked really well, and it gave the kids the opportunity to be responsible for their sibling, and I would reward that. If they showed me responsibility, I would be like, okay, you get this freedom, or you get this thing.
Yeah, that's great.
Whatever works for the family. And then I would also, one of the things that's really great too is if you have kids who can teach little kids something, whether it's adding or sounding out letters or Bob books. Yes. Do you ever use Bob books?
Oh, yeah. We love Bob books.
Bob books. So the kids loved the Bob books. And even when they got older, they still loved the Bob books. So they would sit there and read the Bob books or help the little ones read their Bob books. So stuff like that was really great.
Yeah. Even if they're just one level ahead of the child that they're helping, that's great review. When you're teaching something, you have learned it in an even deeper way. So we always did that as well. I have a different experience. I was not as scheduled and rigid with I wish that I would be. But no, we were more mornings, afternoons. So depending on the day and how the day went, and whoever was at their best or not at their best that day, mornings when they were all little was our together time. Because everybody was fresh and awake, and we got all of our kind of fringe subjects done together. Our read alouds. If you're not reading aloud to your kids, read aloud to your kids. Yes. That's probably my number one best.
Way up here.
Best experience with homeschooling is reading aloud to my kids. And we'll go back to those books and just have all those memories come back. It's awesome. Amazing. So anyway, even when they're in high school, still read to them. They love it. Even if they're telling you they don't love it, they do. So our morning was very all of our together stuff. And then afternoons, when the littlest ones were still napping, because I'm also nap as long as you can. Keep them napping until high school if you can. But our afternoons was then when everybody kind of split up and did their individualized work. Now that they're older, we have switched that because now that they're older, my responsibilities with them have I'm more of the oversight than the involved in every little thing. So we start our day with Bible, and Daddy does that so that Mommy can just have coffee and get ready for what the day is going to bring at me. And that's a great way to keep dads involved. And it's the best subject that the kids are learning. So give it to Dad and have him do it. That's amazing. If that's possible for you. So he starts it off, and then they all go and do, because they're all in high school I have a sixth grader and a fourth grader, but the rest of them are in high school. So now they're all doing their own thing in the morning. And then mostly my sixth and fourth grader are the two that I still combine some subjects with. So in the afternoons, or even like late morning, well, that's when I give them my time individually.
Mm-hmm.
But in the morning when they're doing their stuff, I'm working. I've added things into my life. I mean, CHAP, I'm doing a whole lot of stuff for the convention, and I'm working right alongside them. And I think that's a great way to show an example of the rest of your life. You're going to be held accountable to what work that you're going to be getting done. So it's not just checking off a list. It's, why am I doing this? And am I giving it my all? And so I can model that for my kids by working right alongside them. And they're getting more done when mommy is sitting next to them with my work than if I was running errands every single day. Now, I do have a day that I run errands and they have their list and they have to get it done. But that's a great way as they get older with multiple ages. They can all be working on their own thing. But if we're doing it in the same space, it's a great
everyone's working and everyone's doing it, so there's motivation there. So, and if you're not at that point and you have littles, it just release your day that it's gonna take the time. And you know, if they're sitting together, maybe that's great, and you can help this one, and then the next second you can help this one. But if it's overwhelming because all your children are vying for your attention at once, and it breaks out into a brawl, it's okay to break them out, which is kind of where I ended up, because it felt overwhelming to me. I didn't like having all my kids around the table at once, because mom, and I couldn't give anyone my complete focus. So that's why I kind of said, okay, you go over here and do this. I'm going to work at the kitchen. The kitchen table is my domain, right? That is where mom did the stuff with the kids. So if you were at the kitchen table, you're probably told, and you weren't supposed to be with me, you were told to find somewhere else. Which is why, I mean, they're everywhere. They're in their bedroom. They're on the living room. We have a separate room with a table in it that they go to. My one daughter goes out into my prayer shed that I have, and she does her stuff out there sometimes, or the basement. And we spread out all over the place. So do what works for you. Like if everyone's motivated when they're together and they stay focused, then that's good. But if they don't and they distract each other, then maybe you do need to give everyone their own little special space that works good. And it's kind of like paying attention to your kids so you can figure out what that is.
And being flexible, because that might change month to month. It might be that you start a unit that they're all really into, and then you're just going to have a lot of together time, and that's excellent. And then they might need a break from each other. So then, working that in.
So it's just like parenting. When you think you have it figured out, they change.
Thank you, Lord.
Nothing is definite except change, right? So, or it's death and taxes. But, you know, whatever. Things are always changing. So just kind of go with the flow and just learn from it. You can learn about yourself as you do it to, you know, work with your kids to help them to figure out how they learn best. So, and as they learn to do a little bit of individual work, it's not like all of a sudden one day, boom, you can give them everything and they're working by themselves. It's a gradual thing. When I could judge, it was like, this kid can handle doing, if I tell them to do these 3 things, they will go and do it. And then I'll check on with them later. Or I'm going to give you this one line to copy when you show it to me. So you got to know your kids and just give them a little bit at a time. And honestly, when we've always done co-op classes. As they get into junior and senior high, I don't even know what my senior high kids are doing. They have class, they have teachers, they can ask their teachers questions, they know what's going on, and that teaches them responsibility.
Yes.
And like, I'm not doing their work for them, and I'm not checking in with the teacher with them. If there's an issue, it's their responsibility to do it. So that's like life skills stuff there too. Teaching them to be responsible, to communicate. And if they're not responsible, guess what? You're not going to youth group, or you're not doing whatever.
It needs to be constant.
And so you can build that into their learning as they're not only doing the academics, but doing life skills.
Yes. So what I always like to say for our philosophy of how we educate our children, we are not there to teach them every single thing. It's impossible.
It is impossible.
And especially when you have a whole bunch of them.
Yes.
All together, we are not able to teach them everything that they have to know.
There will be gaps.
Gaps are good.
There will be gaps.
I love my Rocky references. gaps in your gaps. So, yeah, they'll find the person that fills in their gaps later on in life. And that's all designed by the Lord. Mm-hmm. But what I want to teach them is how to learn, how to find out the information that they need, and how to be self-sufficient in their learning. Yes. So that is, I am trying to work myself out of a job every single day, even when they're little. Every little bit that you can give them that they can accomplish on their own, that is just another boost to their confidence and helps them grow and learn how to learn, because there's no possible way that we can teach them everything they need to know. But we can give them all the tools they will ever need to continue to grow and learn the rest of their lives. Yeah,
teach them how to learn. And there's no behind. Take that word out of your vocabulary, except for maybe the spelling list. But anyway, but there is no behind. I'm sorry, there's something flying around my head. Okay, so this will change with seasons of life, obviously. I think we kind of touched on that a little bit. So when you have little tiny babies, you are going to be with them all the time.
Lots of reading, lots of laugh time.
Lots of reading and outside
and that is the best thing you could be doing.
Outside. Be outside and just discover the world.
Yes. Play.
And just marvel at God's creation. I just think that's so good for us. And then, as they grow,
they were hard, but I miss them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a different kind of hard.
Yep.
It's just a different kind of challenge. So, and it will grow and change. And like I said earlier, once you think you have it figured out, it's time to change it into something new. But that's good. We grow.
Yes.
And we want to teach our kids that we're always learning too. Mm-hmm. Life is learning. So we're learning how to adjust and change and grow the same way that they are learning to adjust and change and grow.
A wonderful life.
It really is. It really is. And I think once we get into our heads that life is learning and teach that to our kids, that's really going to help.
Takes away the drudgery,
Yeah, and what about you? Like, when I was in school, I went to public school, but the thought was, okay, when I'm 18, it'll all be over and I'll be done. I won't have to learn
pick up another book the rest of my life.
Exactly. That's the wrong way to think about it. God gave us brains, and we can keep learning and growing, and some of the old stuff might fall out of our head.
That's okay.
But we'll stuff some new stuff in, and it's good. And it's good. We're always learning. I mean, So, hacks to help. Any ideas we can share? Tips, hacks, things to help people?
So, as far as getting through your day, especially when you have the littles, get them involved in not just, you should never be the only one taking care of the house and the chores and the food. That should never just be on you. You are teaching them how to live life, not just how to do their ABCs. So that's much more important. So have them alongside you. It's harder, I know, when they're little and you're trying to teach them how to load the dishwasher when it's so much quicker for you to do it yourself, or fold the laundry and it looks like a lump of clay rather than a nicely folded shirt. It's so much better to put in the time and effort to teach them, and to also be okay with a wrinkled shirt, because who cares? You're teaching them the life skills that they are going to need and take with them forever. And then when they get to be older, the older they get, the more you just sit back in awe and say, wow, these humans are productive and amazing and creative, and you have been a part of in training that in them. So just don't try to do it all, Mama. You can't do it all. And letting go of that is so freeing, is so, you can just be open to, okay, what does God have for me for this season in life with these kids that he has entrusted me with? So it's not so much of a practical hack as a mindset shift to not try to be doing everything yourself. Make sure you're having them come right alongside you and be learning. And that is learning too. That counts. It all counts.
It does. Life skills are really important. It's really important that when they move out, they can function on their own well in a home. Like, can they clean the bathroom? Can they do their laundry? Can they do the dishes? Can they, make a budget? Can they go grocery shopping? Like, this stuff is important. I know too many kids who go to college and meet people who have no idea how to do their laundry. It is the saddest thing. So that is just as important as the books. So, and that's stuff you can do together. Hey, kids, come into the bathroom with me. I'm going to teach you how to scrub down the sink or the shower. And they might love it. My kids love scrubbing the kitchen floor with me. Like we would all have a
mopping is fun in my house.
Well,
yeah,
but we would do the hands and knees to scrub the dirt out of the crevices, and they'd be like, yeah, and like because you could see it was white then after you scrubbed. It's kind of fun. They like that, like instant gratification. So like, yeah, I mean, you never know. They might actually enjoy doing those things, and those things are things that you can all do together. Mm-hmm. If you are in a situation where you really need to kind of get through something, and the little ones are like, like I did read alouds nursing a baby all the time. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So don't juggle things, or don't be afraid to juggle things or whatever. You got the special basket of things to do that is only for that time. Like I had beads and stringing things and beads. Stuff like that seems so simple, but I mean, if you know Sara Collins, Homeschool OT, she'll tell you, I mean, stringing those beads and picking up things with a pincher and categorizing things or putting them in a little plastic egg, that stuff is huge for the brain and so important for their dexterity and being able to do things, small motor skills and stuff like that. So even those little things that seem like so mundane or like, that's so old school, that is the stuff that works. Yeah. It's quiet and it doesn't have batteries. You can use that stuff. And it's cheap. Yes. So have those special things for those special times that like, oh boy, it's read aloud time and I could get to use this thing now and all that type of thing. So another thing is, if you want your kids to have the encouragement of learning on their own, maybe get them some readers or something that is maybe a little, it's really easy for them to read it. Yeah. Okay, so they can read it on their own and be like, wow, I read this on my own. Mm-hmm. And you went to the library and got something that goes with the topic you're studying or whatever. And they can be like, wow, this is great. And then maybe even when you're making dinner, they can tell you about it. Hey, what did you read in that book? Well, it was this and this and this or whatever. Or maybe they want to draw pictures to go with it, whatever. You can do whatever you want with that. But, anything like that boosts their confidence.
I mean, that's when you're trying to think about where to put your kids in grade level and all of that, isn't it so much better to go a little bit under so that they can conquer it and grow than to have them always be struggling to reach a mark that they can never get to? And I mean, it just completely changes. That's why, I mean, we talk about multiple ages. Reading is going to happen differently for each kid. Oh, yeah. And rather than pushing it, it's so much better to wait until they're ready. I mean, I know that's a whole different topic.
We keep getting that different topics, but okay,
we have a lot to say.
We do, but we're going to wrap it up. Yeah. And the last tip I want to give you guys out there, if you need help, ask for it. People want to help you. People want to help you. If you have family members, you can ask. Do that. If you are a part of a co-op and you can ask them for help, do that. Or at church. And sometimes there's like grandmas at church, or there's ladies at church and their families live in another state and they don't get to be around their grandbabies, but they would love to help somebody. They would love to be around little ones. I think about the people who help in the toddler room or in the nursery at church. And they're retired and they would just love to pour into families. Don't be afraid to ask
for help.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So I know it's humbling sometimes, but it is important to learn how to do that.
Yeah, and it's a great example to set for your kids.
It is.
Because when they need help, they should know it's okay to ask.
It's okay to ask.
And we can show them that.
We don't have to do it all on our own. Yeah. Because we're built for relationship.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. All right, everybody. If you have any questions, any comments you would like to share with us, please comment below. And what should they do, Sara, on our YouTube channel?
YouTube, like, and subscribe. Everything that you're seeing from CHAP, please hit the like button, put a comment on it, because that is going to get more eyes on this great content. We want to share our encouragement with as many people as we can. And the way that you can help us do that is to subscribe to the YouTube channel, to make sure you're liking the posts that are coming through, Facebook, Instagram, all of it. That's a really easy way that you can help spread the word of what CHAP is doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for partnering with us in that way and helping us get the word out. And mamas, Enjoy the season that you're in as you train your children and yourself to follow Christ in all of life. So thanks for tuning in today. I'm very glad to have had Sara with me. And we will be back another week. So have a great one, and we'll see you soon. Enjoy this lovely weather. All right. See you now. Bye.